Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Arch Linux. We've got the ultimate install guide for you guys. We're going to go through the install together, and then once we've got Arch Linux installed, I'm going to show you how to get DaVinci Resolve working. There's some dependencies that it requires, and then you'll notice on Linux you can't just import your recording out of OBS. There is a transcode that we've got to run through to get the format correct for DaVinci Resolve to pick it up so we can scrub the video. And then we'll run through OBS, getting it set up. We'll set up VMware Workstation, Inkscape, GIMP, Local Send, and then to round the video out, we'll set up Steam and Proton GE together. But to get started, I'm just going to go to archlinux.org. Top right, click Download. We gotta scroll all the way down to the bottom here to United States, and then you can pick any of these mirrors that work best for you. And the ISO is really small. It's only 872 megabytes, so not too bad. But go ahead and get that downloaded. And then once you've got that, go ahead and we're going to type in Etcher, and it's this first link, etcher.balena.io. Download Etcher, and we want the 64-bit app image, so we'll download that. And once we've got that downloaded, just right click it, Properties, and make sure that you can execute. So just toggle on that, and then double click. And here you'll select your ISO that we just downloaded, your USB stick, and then click Flash and let that write to the USB stick. Then keep the USB stick in your machine and restart, and it's either F11 or F12 on your keyboard that'll get to your boot menu. Do that and then select your USB stick, and that's where I'll rejoin you. Alright, and we've made it to the boot menu, so what I'm going to do is select Arch Linux. On your boot menu, you want to make sure you select your USB stick. Select Arch Linux Install Medium, and we'll let this boot up. Okay, we've made it to the install, so what we'll type here is Arch install. Language English is fine. Mirrors, I'm going to skip over that. Locals are fine. Disk configuration. Use a best effort. I'm going to select my hard drive here with spacebar, press enter. And I'll go with X4, press enter. Would you like to create a separate partition for home? I'm going to say no to that. I don't want disk encryption. Bootloader, system deboot's good. Unified kernel is false. On the swap, I'm going to set that to no. Hostname, Arch Linux is fine. Set your super secret password here. We're going to add a user. Another super secret password. I want Chris to be a super user. Say yes to that. And then confirm and exit. All right, under profile type, we're going to go desktop. And here we're going to select our desktop environment. For this example, I'll go with KDE. So I went down to KDE and pressed spacebar, and then enter. Graphics driver. If you've got an NVIDIA, this is where you want to do your NVIDIA proprietary. If you've got AMD, no need to really come into here and change anything. But I do have an NVIDIA 3050, so I'm going to select proprietary. And so I've got the desktop type, NVIDIA proprietary, and then SDDM as my greeter. I'm going to go back. And then for audio, I want Pipewire. Kernel, Linux is fine. Network configuration, we want the network manager. Time zone, I'm going to come down to America, Denver. And you'll have to change your time zone to your area. NPT true. Optional repositories. We'll go ahead and do multi-lib. That'll give us access to install Steam. And if you want to do any additional packages, here's where we could do OBS Studio, just as an example. Or you could leave this empty and we'll do it after the installation, either way. And I'm just going to hit install. So press enter on that, and that will kick off our Arch install. So that used to be a process that was very, time consuming and manual, but with that Arch install script, things are a lot easier now. So I'll just let this go. I'll speed this portion of the video up. All right, and the install is finished. Here you would say yes if you want to log into your install and get anything installed prior to getting into your desktop environment. I'm just going to say no there. And the installation is complete, so all we need to do is reboot. So I'm going to type reboot, press enter, and I'll see you guys on the first login. All right, and we've made it to the SDDM screen. You'll notice that it defaults to Wayland. Since I'm on NVIDIA, I'm going to change that to X11. The Wayland support for NVIDIA just isn't there yet, so we'll stick with X11. And since we're on Arch, we know there's no updates, so what I'll do is I'll just change the theming here. We'll make it dark. Apply to that. And then I like to go grab the by beta cursor, so we'll go do that real quick. And we want the tar XZ install. Hit apply on that. And then I'll give it a restart because, as you can see, our cursor still isn't right. After a restart, it'll show up correctly. Okay, and if you remember, during our install, we went ahead and selected OBS as a package. So under Multimedia, OBS Studio, and we want to optimize for recording. Next. Current display is 1080p, it's fine. Next, and then we do have the NVIDIA cards. We're using the NVENC H264, so we'll apply that. And then I like to come back into settings, go to output, and then we can change where that path is, but I always change indistinguishable quality, and then instead of MKV I want MP4. Codec looks good, hit apply on that one. And then video, we don't need to upscale anything. We're just doing 1080p at 60 frames, so that's good. So now our OBS software is ready to go. I'll stop this recording and I'll use my NVIDIA encoder for the rest of the video. Alright, and something I should have added to the optional packages was a browser. So we'll just go sudo pacman s firefox. And let's go grab Firefox real quick. All right, and it pinned it to the taskbar for me too, so that's perfect. All right, to install DaVinci Resolve, there is a package out on the AUR, but we need to get Yay first. And to install Yay, we'll just do a sudo pacman syu to make sure all of our packages are up to date. And then we'll do a sudo pacman s-needed base-devel git. That's going to grab git for us. And then we'll do a git clone https AUR archlinux.org/yay.git, and then we'll cd into Yay, and then we'll do a make package si, and then we'll do a Yay -- version to make sure we do have it installed, and we do have version 12.2. So now that's out of the way. The next thing we want to do, we want to make sure we've got our NVIDIA drivers installed. So we'll do NVIDIA SMI. We scroll back up, we do see we've got version 5.4.5 of the NVIDIA driver. So that helps us. And we also need a media player. So let's just arrow up until we get back to our Pacman, and then we'll type in MPV for our media player. Download that. And then we will go ahead and do a Yay S, and we will install DaVinci Resolve. I for install, N for none. And I'm going to purposefully not install a dependency just to show you what you would get if you didn't. We need to install OpenCL prior to running Resolve, but I'll show you what it looks like if you forget to do that. And the reason I'm doing it this way is if someone comes across this error message, this is the fix for it. And you'll see it's basically a GPU unsupported error message, but we'll fix it. Go ahead and close Firefox. And just as soon as this is finished, we'll open Resolve. All right, now let's go into DaVinci. And if you get a black screen here on the first launch, you can just right click on, and close, and that'll terminate. And then eventually you'll see that splash screen that I just got. But we've got the unsupported GPU processing mode. This is the error message I was talking about if you don't install OpenCL first. So I'll quit out of this. I'll show you how to get OpenCL installed, and then we'll go from there. All right, and to fix the GPU error that we were getting, we're just going to run sudo pacman-s opencl-nvidia. Press enter and let that install. And then we'll close out of these two things, and then we'll go back into DaVinci. And you'll see that it loads properly now. All right, so we've got DaVinci Resolve working. Let's go in and I'll show you the next issue we've got. So if we go new project, let's name this test. And I don't know if you saw it, but we've got a test video on our desktop. So we'll go over to edit, right click, import media, and then we want desktop, test video. So it'll import, but you can see it's grayed out, and if we try to scrub it, there's nothing there, no audio, no video. So that's the next problem we've got to tackle. So let's go ahead and close out of Resolve. We'll bring up our terminal. All right, so we've got our test video here. So we'll just paste in this command, ffmpeg, and then we want to, I'll change this because we're already in the directory we need to be in. There's no need for that part. So we just need test video, MP4, And then we want to output file MOV. Press enter. And this does take some time to run. One thing you'll notice is the original MP4 is only 1.8 megabytes, to where this, after we run through the FFmpeg, this file size is now 880 megabytes. So something to keep in mind. But if we go back into Resolve, we'll import this new MOV file. We'll go back into test. That's fun. And we can just remove this clip here, and we'll import our output file. You want to change the frame rate? Sure. And you can tell we can now scrub the clip here. If I wanted to play it. All right, and if I wanted to drag that over and append, it does add it to the timeline. So just something to get DaVinci Resolve up and working. You've got to jump through a few hoops here, but once you get it set up, it runs pretty flawlessly. To take the transcode command a step further, we can do a for loop. So for fn star.mp4. So however many MP4 files you've got, it'll run through and do the ffmpeg command on each one, and it'll name them _converted. So let's go ahead and press enter on this. And as you can see, it ran through test video 1, test video 2, and it made an _converted. And so that's just kind of a use case if you've got a project within a folder and you need to transcode all of the MP4 files into the MOV. So DaVinci Resolve would be able to read those files. That's one way to do it. And I'll leave this in the description as well. Okay, next up is going to be VMware Workstation. There is a package on the AUR, so we'll bring up the terminal. We'll just type in yay -s VMware Workstation. And we'll do install. I for install. N for none. Put in our password. Yes. Yes again. And yes again. Okay, so now it's finished installing. We'll type in VM player, press enter, and it's wanting either a commercial key, which I don't have, or you can do the non-commercial use. Press finish, and then type in your password. And then now once you've done that, you can close out, and it should be listed under the start menu here. Go to utilities, what is it, system? Yeah, it's under system. And now you got VMware player. And a quick search on the Arch Linux packages website. We see Inkscape is listed, so we'll just do a sudo pacman s Inkscape. Put in our password. Say yes to that. If we go to super, Graphics, Inkscape. Let's do a new document, and we see we do have Inkscape. And it's the same thing for GIMP, so we'll just up arrow. We've already got our command put in there, so we'll just type in GIMP, press enter, yes to install. Once that finishes, we'll just click on Super, Graphics, and we have GIMP. And for local send, they do have a package out on the AUR. So I'll just press enter on this. So I for install, N for none. Put in our password. Yes for install. So if we go to Super, Utilities, there's local send. And that is working. And you can see Steam was not found. That's because we need to go in and add the multi-lib library. So to do that, we'll just do sudo nano ets pacman.conf. And then we'll come down to where it's got the multi-lib section. Here's the multi-lib section, and we'll just take out the comments and then do a Control-O to write that out, press enter. Then we'll do a Control-X to leave the file. And then I like to go back in and just make sure that it did take my changes there. Go back down to multi-lib, and the changes were saved successfully. So I'll close out again. And we'll just do a sudo pacman syu to refresh the databases. We'll just up arrow until we get to Steam again. We'll press enter on that. Press enter again. You do see that it sees it now. Press yes to install. And that did finish, so I'll go ahead and click on Super, go to Games, and then launch Steam. And we'll just let that build in the background while we go get Proton Up Qt. Not what I'm looking for, I want Proton Up Qt. Okay, it does look like that's on the AUR. So let's try a Yay S Proton Up Qt. Okay, and it does find it, so we'll do I for install, N for none. Yes to yes, yes, yes. Okay, and it did finish. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. Steam's still downloading in the background at this point. Okay, I'll sign in with my phone. And this is just the initial login to Steam, so I'm just going to exit. And then we want Proton Up Qt. Add a version. 825 is the latest and greatest, so we'll install that. Okay, that did finish. We'll close out of that again and we'll go back into Steam. And I'm just going to go to Steam, Settings, Compatibility, and toggle this Enable Steam Play On. And now our Steam is using Proton GE. And if we don't want the KDE icon on our super button, we'll just right click Configure, go into the icon, and then switch to Other. And there's our Arch logo. So now we got the cool Arch logo button. And if we wanted to grab NeoFetch, we could do a sudo pacman s NeoFetch. Put in our password. And now when we do a NeoFetch, it is working. And that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you found the video helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.